Hi guys, this is Ashley back with another video. Before we get into the video, like, comment, and subscribe to the channel. Make sure to turn on post notifications. Will Botchin' Pregnant and JT make amends now that JT has been unfollowed by Nicki Minaj? Okay. Now, allegedly, JT could possibly make amends with Botchin' Pregnant, aka Cardi B. Allegedly, JT's team think it would be a good idea. Possibly they can do some music together. No shade. Botchin' Pregnant is a little cold right now musically. I don't think JT can help her on the charts. But I do feel like, the fans probably would like it. The JT fans and, Section 8 gang, they probably would like them to work together because when JT was in jail, that is when Cardi B did a song with Carisha for the City Girls, okay? And no shade, they still follow each other on social media. They still follow each other on Instagram. Even after Cardi B called JT a lapdog, they're still following each other, okay? So it does mean that it ain't completely over. Because if they haven't unfollowed each other and they've been throwing shade in music, they've been sneak dissing on Twitter. Botchin' Pregnant just recently threw shade after Nicki Minaj unfollowed JT. Okay, and then she went on live calling JT and Nicki Minaj B-words and hoes. So with that being said, there could be a possible reunion for JT and Cardi B in the future. In my opinion, I feel like JT musically, sonically, in my opinion, sounds better than Cardi B. Raps better than Cardi B. But I know that rap fans, female rap fans, not necessarily the Barbs, might be here for a collaboration. Me personally, I think JT don't need to collaborate with Cardi B, but it could possibly chart, But I don't think that JT needs to collaborate with Cardi B, but it definitely could possibly chart. It's going to be very interesting to see how JT moves now that she's no longer cool with Nicki Minaj. Now, it also has been reported that allegedly Champagne Thickums is rumored to be featured on Botchin' Pregnant's viral unreleased song called Trophies, which allegedly will be on Botchin' Pregnant's next album. Now, this is the song that they're talking about. The song is actually kind of old. Botchin' Pregnant previewed this a while ago. Now, a few weeks ago, Champagne Thickums, collaborated with Scratch Off. The song flopped, but they did do a collaboration that nobody really asked for. So a lot of fans believe that the next female rapper he's going to work with will be Botchin' Pregnant, okay? Now, I think that Champagne Thickums definitely would work with Botchin' Pregnant. I definitely can see them working together. I don't think he gonna sound right on this song, though. This song is old. He not gonna sound right on this song. He usually, when he do songs with female rappers, he usually sing on it, most of the time, or there's some sort of singing involved. Even on Moment for Life, Nicki was singing. He sang on Needles. The Sexy Red collaboration, Sexy was singing on that song. And, that song was a hot mess. So I feel like it's not going to sound right with them just both rapping on the record. Okay? Because Botchin' Pregnant can't really rap on Champagne Thickums level. And Champagne Thickums ghostwriters, they going to definitely try to dumb it down for Botchin' Pregnant. So let me know how y'all feel about that. Now, moving on to D0JA Cat. Payola Board announced the biggest female hit makers on the Payola Board Hot 100 chart this decade based on Hot 100 artist points, okay? So these are the biggest female hit makers according to Payola Board. We got D0JA Cat. We got Olivia Rodrigo, okay? I like Olivia. We got Dua Lipa. You know, she fell off a little bit, no shade. We got SZA. We got Queen Ari. We got Big Billy. We got Purdue Chicken. I don't know how Purdue Chicken's on there. I mean, after Weeds, Flowers, she's been, you know, MIA. I mean, what's the last hit she had? That was Flowers. She put out a whole album and there was no hits on there. Queen B, the queen of music, is on there at number 9, 30 years in the game. Okay. And then we got Megan at number 10. But Doja Cat is the highest female rapper on this list. Am I shocked? No, because Doja Cat has been putting out hits, especially since Say So came out. Okay, she stays on the charts. I wonder how the point system works, though. You know, because they said this is based on how many Hot 100 points they have. You know, I was kind of shocked to not see Nicki there. Or Rihanna. Rihanna usually would be on a chart like this because don't she got like 14 number ones, but she hasn't put out music in like 7 to 8 years. So that's probably why she's not on the list. So let me know how y'all feel about that. Now, moving on to Nicki Minaj. Goodness gracious. The ops are out trying to get Nicki. It looks like Nicki Minaj is being sued by a former Barb, claiming that Nicki Minaj basically humiliated him. Now, with that being said, a former self-proclaimed Barb is suing Nicki Minaj for $5 million. Tamir Pete alleges Nicki publicly humiliated him by referring to him as a mentally unstable stalker. He claims that Nicki publicly ridiculed him by inviting him to her hotel on one session to film and embarrass him in front of 100,000 viewers on Instagram Live. Wow. The documents also accuse Nicki of mistreating him during a Super Bowl weekend event in 2020. He says her husband, Kenneth Petty, battered him. Peake says Nicki later DM'd him, referring to the incident. He wants $5 million in damages for reputational harm, emotional distress, and financial loss. Okay? Let me know how y'all feel about this. Now, fans are pulling up old tweets of Tamir basically tweeting at Nicki Minaj, asking her to do random things like playing spades, asking her out to lunch, you know, hit her shoe size, checking her DMs. There are also an interesting tweet about Nicki Minaj doing a blank fans account. Okay, y'all know what I'm talking about. And put videos of Papa Bear on there for a $50 subscription, which was very weird. Okay, I don't know why she would make that type of account for her child. But the point of the matter is, you know, Nicki Minaj, sometimes I think she gets a little bit too close to her fans. Okay? And that could be a dangerous game to play. Look at what happened to Selena, the icon. Okay? When you get too close to fans. You know, he states in the lawsuit that he was invited to her hotel room. Fans don't belong in hotel rooms. Okay? So I feel like, you know, Nicki, I know she feels like she can trust some of her fans, but once you try to cut them off, they're just going to turn on you, just like the female rappers do. Okay? So, you know, I think Nicki has to kind of move more like an A-lister that she is. Okay? She got to realize she's not regular degular. And even though, you know, she's an icon, she doesn't always think she's an icon. I don't think Nicki realizes that she's Nicki Minaj. So I feel like she got to stop having these close relationships with these fans, because once you try to cut them off, or if you don't want to entertain them no more, then, you know, unfortunately, they turn bitter and try to ruin your reputation. Okay? So I think Nicki has to realize that she got to set boundaries, you know, and this is one of the reasons why you see a lot of celebrities, they don't really interact with their fans like that. Okay? To avoid this type of situation. Now, I'm not even talking about, you know, taking pictures and stuff like that. I'm talking about, you know, constantly talking to them all the time or interacting with them on a close level. So Nicki got to be very careful, okay? Because they'll turn on you just as quick as the female rappers do. Now, Scratch Off decides that she no longer has beef with Icespxce, okay? Let's take a listen to what she has to say in regards to the status of her and Icespxce.
Is it true you got beef with Icespxce?
Oh my God, here we go.
Halo, what the world?
What?
Let me tell you something, Halo. I don't got no problem with nobody because beef is a different thing. You feel me? That's a whole different type of conversation. I ain't got no beef with nobody. I ain't got no problem with nobody for real. I ain't got no problem with nobody for real, for real.
Bro,
it ain't
you
like that.
messy, bro. What, you reading something? Where do y'all find this stuff out at? What do you even find this stuff at? What this show is about?
Yeah, how
love,
you even,
peace, and
what?
harmony. Where do you get this information from?
Okay? My whole thing with Scratch Off, and this is why I don't respect Scratch Off, is you was just dissing Icespxce on your album, yet y'all don't have beef. Why don't the female rappers ever put it on the floor? It's only Nicki Minaj that is not scared to at somebody, okay? Because she did at Megan Thee Stallion earlier this year. But the rest of y'all be throwing subliminal shots and then being interviews like, I don't got no beef. It's no issue. I don't got no beef with nobody. I don't understand why do you need to do that. If there's beef, just be honest with it. You don't mess with Icespxce. It's evident, okay? Why are you pretending like you don't have no issues? I don't get that. Your album already flopped, okay? So we don't need the mystery behind the beef because your album flopped already. You dissed her on the album. I don't really understand why you're pretending like you don't have issues with Icespxce. That's very weird. Now, it has been reported that the reason why Queen Bee was a no-show at the DNC to help Kamala Harris is because Kamala Harris did not want to be outshined by Queen Bee or the Trump says racist. That's what they're reporting. Do I fully believe that? No. Because Queen Bee previously endorsed the Clintons back in 2016. And I believe she performed at a convention back in 2016. So I don't fully believe that, Kamala did not want to be outshined. I think that Queen Bee just didn't want to participate, okay? They don't want to put that narrative out there, okay? I do feel like behind the scenes she'll do, some sort of support to Kamala Harris. She's already donated to the campaign. But I don't think that she wants to publicly endorse Kamala like, she would have in the past because she don't want the backlash, okay? She just went country. White folks would turn on her. Now, moving on from that, Short and Sweet by Sabrina Carpenter becomes the first album by a female artist to score multiple number ones on the U.S. Apple Music since Nicki Minaj Pink Friday 2 in 2023. It also has been reported that Sabrina Carpenter's Short and Sweet is aiming for a number one debut on the Billboard 200 album chart, selling 280 to 300,000 units first week in the U.S., according to Hits Daily Double. It will mark her first ever number one album. So congratulations to Sabrina Carpenter. Like I said, the album's just not for me, but a lot of people do like the album, okay? So you can't even really hate on it. A lot of people do like the album Icespxce and Please, Please, Please were hits. So congratulations to Sabrina Carpenter. Also, fans are talking about this old clip that has been going viral of Sabrina Carpenter choosing between Nicki Minaj and Cardi B.
About it, it really is hip hop.
Hip hop. Mm-hmm.
That's what it is because it's become mainstream America.
Absolutely. Because that flow and that it's something that's really infectious for everybody.
I can just see Sabrina like rocking out to like Cardi
Okay,
and like getting a little hood
If
with
you had to do a collabo, would you do Cardi B or Nicki Minaj? I'm gonna put you on the spot.
I would actually, and nothing against, I've never met either of them, but I would do Cardi B. I love her new album. I think it's really, really great.
Okay, so that clip has been kind of going viral on social media, especially X. But, I'm not really shocked by that because Sabrina Carpenter, how old is she? Like 22, 23. And so I think she probably feels like she might have more in common with Cardi B, especially since they both be getting dogged out by men. No shade. And this is really, 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 really no shade. Okay, Sabrina Carpenter just did a whole album how she just got dogged out by Shawn Mendes. Okay? Did she not? And we know Off the Cheap been dogging out Botching Pregnant basically their whole marriage. So they got a lot in common. I can see why she would relate to Cardi B. I could see them doing a song where they're talking about heartbreak or their issues in their relationships. I can see them doing something like that. Now, rapper Uncle Luke, who is an icon to the hip hop culture, is demanding a check from Icespxce, Sexy Red, and Megan Thee Stallion.
From Icespxce, I need a check from Sexy Red. All girls, Megan Thee Stallion, anybody that's running around shaking their ass. Male rap is on some bull right now. I'm sorry. The females are winning. They're doing everything that I did. I'm still waiting for these girls to fucking check. I need a check from Icespxce, who turned her ass around and dropping it like it's hot and doo-doo browning. I need a check from her. I need a check from Sexy Red. That Red, my friend. My man Stan. Shots out to Stan. Stan the man. I don't need a check from him. That's my dog. That's his record company. All the girls, Megan Thee Stallion, anybody that's running around shaking their ass, talking about on the record, y'all need to send me a check.
Now I'm going to have to disagree with this, okay? Nobody needs to send you a check just because they talking about they coochie, they twerking on records. Like, that don't even make no sense, okay? And I get it, you're an icon, especially in the hip-hop culture. But at the end of the day, you're not the only male or female rapper from back in the day that has talked nasty on a record. Okay, you're just not. And then on top of that, they're not your artists. How can you demand a check and you didn't sign any of these three ladies? Okay, that doesn't even make no logical sense. Saying, oh, I need a check from Sexy Red. I need a check from Megan Thee Stallion. I'm shocked he didn't even mention Cardi B, but Cardi B don't really put out music. He probably forgot about Cardi B, but I'm shocked he didn't even mention Cardi B. My whole thing is, I get it. A lot of these newer female rappers and male rappers are influenced by the older generation, especially these female rappers. They do have some influence from, Nicki and Lil' Kim, obviously. I even see some, female rappers that are influenced by Foxy, like Lola Brooke. But at the end of the day, if you do not sign an artist, you're not getting no check from them. Uncle Luke will be receiving Donkey of the Day for that. I mean, that made no logical sense, okay? He didn't even really specify why he deserves a check. He just said, this person need to give me a check. And here's the thing. Like I said before, just because the older generation, a few artists might have talked about, sexing records, that doesn't mean these newer artists are necessarily copying you. They could be influenced by, like I said, Nicki Minaj, Kim, okay? Or, they want to talk about their sex lives. I think it's absolutely ridiculous for him to ask for a check. If anybody needs a check, it would be Nicki or Kim. To be quite honest, it definitely would not be you. It would be Nicki or Kim because she's giving out free features and paid for music videos and giving people cosigns so that way they can get the barbs as fans. She's the one that really need a check, not you. Sorry. Now, moving on to Kung Fu Kenny. Kung Fu Kenny texted one of his friends, okay, saying, we coming, aka the album. The text said, is the album coming or is you just on Demon? And allegedly Kung Fu Kenny responded and said, we coming, and people were thinking he's about to drop the album. His childhood friend also confirmed that they gonna, for now, leave Canada alone. That's what his childhood friend said. I'm ready for him to completely annihilate Champagne Thickums, in my opinion. Then Champagne Thickums wants to drop another 100 gigabytes of trash, which nobody wants. Goodness gracious, won't he leave us alone? I wish he never lost the rap beef because he just won't stop putting out music. Like, we don't want to hear it anymore. We want you to go on hiatus. So Kung Fu Kenny coming back is the perfect time. Okay, please annihilate Champagne Thickums once again so he can go back to Toronto and stay in his flooded mansion. And then he has the audacity to post on his Finsta, because, you know, he too scared to post on his actual account. But on Plot Twist, he posted a picture and video, and it was a quote in the video saying, y'all put it on the front page, back page, middle of the page, we will win game 2. Okay? It was an interview from the Pistons, Rasheed Wallace, you know, when they went to beat the Pacers back in 2004. Okay? Now, my whole thing is, game 2 already passed. Didn't y'all both collectively put out like 4 or 5 songs during the beef? Why didn't you respond better to Not Like Us if you wanted to extend the beef? Because your songs aren't charting. Okay, that's why you want to reignite the beef, because your songs aren't charting. People don't care about your music like that no more. Now, I will say this. It wouldn't be a good idea, because Champagne Thickums, you don't really know that Kung Fu Kenny got like 20 diss tracks with your name on it. Okay? You might want to pipe down. Not Like Us wasn't even the worst of it, allegedly. Okay? So, it is what it is. But if I was Champagne Thickums, if you go toe-to-toe with Kung Fu Kenny again, you're going to lose a second time around. Okay? Because the bars don't hit. Sorry. But anyway, I got some very hot tea on Patreon. Link will be in the description. Have a great day.